Hello and welcome. Today we are taking another look at the DJI Romo, specifically the S version. I have already tested both brush variants, the full rubber brushes, which can be seen on the right side of the image and come standard with the Romo S, and the brushes on the left, which need to be purchased separately. These are bristle brushes, where the rubber fins are also somewhat softer. The A and P versions, if I'm not mistaken, are delivered with both brush variants included. As mentioned, I have already tested both versions. However, I realized that I forgot a short test regarding fiber pickup, which I would like to make up for here. At the same time, I want to highlight a small fundamental issue regarding my controlled testing and the impressions people get at home. First, I tested the bristle brush by letting the robot drive over this carpet twice, picking up some viscose fiber. I deliberately chose my red test carpet for this test. As you can see, the result is quite good overall. It's not perfect. Some robots do this slightly better, but it's a solid performance. Factors such as humidity and temperature also play a role, which is why I don't always run these tests since it is hard to maintain exactly identical conditions for every robot. Next, we look at the full rubber brushes. Here it becomes clear that even with what is actually a somewhat lighter type of contamination where the fibers are more clumped together, the result is noticeably worse. Previously, the fibers were more firmly rubbed into the carpet. I also let the robot pass over the carpet several more times, but the outcome still doesn't look very good. This is exactly the kind of difference you are likely to notice more clearly in everyday use at home. Surface pickup, especially when it comes to fibers, lint, and similar debris, does not work particularly well with the standard full rubber brushes. When switching to the bristle brushes, however, the results improve significantly. This is not surprising as bristles generally perform better with this type of debris. For full rubber brushes to achieve similar results, a very high airflow volume and high air velocity at the cleaning head are required. That does not seem to be the case with the Romo. In general, as mentioned, bristles have a clear advantage when dealing with this kind of contamination. As we've seen, I then switched back to the bristle brush. Even after numerous passes with the full rubber brushes, the results were still not very convincing. With the bristle variant, however, pickup is clearly better even with the fibers that have by now been heavily pressed into the carpet by the robot itself. It's still not perfect. Some larger lint pieces remain, which can be seen on the right side of the image, but overall the performance is acceptable. I deliberately chose this carpet because when it comes to dust contamination, the situation is exactly the opposite. In that case, as shown in my previous tests of this robot, the full rubber brush performs better than the bristle brush. This strongly depends on the properties of the carpet pile. The difference is quite huge for this kind of contamination, but overall it is not a groundbreaking difference because the performance of the DJI Romo is still at the lower end with this type of carpet, and there is no reason to not to use the bristle brushes that give better performance with the other tested carpets. That is exactly what I wanted to demonstrate once again. The way something is tested matters, and so does the subjective impression at home compared to the measured tests I conduct. This difference is also reflected in some of the comments under my videos, where viewers report that their real-world results at home look different. This example illustrates that contrast very clearly regarding measured dust pickup versus surface sweeping impressions. With that, this truly concludes my coverage of this robot. Thank you very much for watching. If you would like to support my work and my channel, you will find the relevant options in the video description. Thanks again, and goodbye.